Right, hopefully this stream will work alright, because it's had some hiccups already when I tried to start it. So, alright, oh, let me make the chat a bit bigger if I can. Sudsy, hello. Right, Joshua. But yeah, so annoyingly, there's been a few hiccups trying to start this stream, so whether or not it's running alright, I don't know. I'm also quite tired. I had a bit of a nap earlier, but I still feel quite tired. I set an alarm to do a stream. So I was thinking about doing a webcam one, and then I thought I'd just look really tired, so I thought I wouldn't bother. So hello everybody coming on. Again, I'm not really doing a build in this. As said, I never really do builds in these games, and I play for the first time. And again, no spoilers. I just play it as I want to play it. So, last time I was streaming this, we got to about here, didn't we? And there's a boss here I'll probably fail at, but I'll show you it anyway. So for any of the members, I'm going to try and do a members stream tomorrow. Might be in the afternoon though, because I probably won't get time in the evening. But I wouldn't mind trying to do a members stream at some point, you know, during the day. So I'll be at the Blue Cross in the morning, and then I'll be back early afternoon, so it'd probably be 2 PM, 3 PM sort of time, I imagine. Anyway, this boss will probably wreck me, but let's have a quick go. It's basically that annoying boss from the start of the game, but you have to fight it again. I was not using the health thing, was I then? Oh, shit. Right, let's try that again. I had the wrong flask out, I just realised. Yeah, I do a similar thing normally, Rich. I do that so it's just more fun to play. Because, like, again, I know there are people with these games that are really good at rolling and stuff and everything like that. And they can, you know, play through the game without barely leveling up. But to me, that wouldn't be fun, you know, knowing that basically everything later in the game would kill you in one hit and you have to time everything perfectly. I do the sort of thing. I thought that something called would already been functional, seeing as I already summoned that hello thing, but. Oh yeah, like you're saying, without going too much into it, cock up after cock up, it doesn't surprise me they did something that stupid. Right, that's what I want now, isn't it, that flask? bet that one it kills me. Oh no. Right. Does seem hugging his leg is a bit less dangerous than trying to get further away from him. Now, is he dead, or does he have a part 2 to his battle? Alright, good, that was the end of it. Right, okay. So, I was struggling with that before I did the stream, but that wasn't too bad, actually. What an ugly motherfucker. That sounds good, Justin. Oh, I didn't know that, Stoic. Is there a similar thing you can do for the horse when you're on horse? Because that annoys me, having to constantly, you know, like, you know, keep cycling through to get to the horse. But that's at least a good thing to know. I didn't know that. Thanks. Ah, cool. Oh, yes, that does that. For the Combine thing, SHMS or a PMG. They're basically the Combine masks. Wait, is there a bonfire to activate here? Or do I have to go up the stairs first? Ah, it looks like there might be something at the top of the stairs. Alright, cool, I'll have a look at that, thanks. Okay, so I can't do anything up here. Oh, there's a bonfire there, I didn't spot that, right. I'm playing on PC, but I'll test that, thanks. Ah, yeah. I see it. So if I do... It's the pouch things, I guess. Ah, yeah, I see, so... Yeah, let's do that one to the down position. And then we'll do that flask to the right. Right, let's try that just to test it works, so... Oh, I didn't realise I'd actually drink it in it. I might go on fire anyway. Right, thanks for telling me that. That is useful to know. That's when I have to get used to using it, but...
Hello again, old friend. Allow me a moment to converse with you. You were unable to enter the Erd Tree. No, prevented by the mantle of barbs. The thorns are impenetrable. A husk of the Erd Tree's being that spurns all that exists without. The only way to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord is to pass the thorns. My purpose serves to aid in that very act, so I'd like you to undertake a new journey with me to the Flame of Ruin, far above the clouds, upon the snowy mountain tops of the giants. Then I can set the Erd Tree aflame and guide you down the path to becoming Elden Lord.
Might as well talk to her where I can, because you can't normally talk to her, can you?
I wish to journey with you once more to the flame.
I never have got into Chernobylite properly, but it does look good. Like, I own Chernobylite. I was just repeating the same thing. So yeah, Chernobylite looks good, I've just never properly gotten into it. But I think if you like Stalker and Metro and those sort of games, you would like it. It's just, you know, like I've never had the patience to sit down and play it properly, if that makes sense. I'm seeing if I have these about. No, I don't think. Dexterity again. Just smack people about harder. Okay, so one is down now going to that one rather than my healing one. Is it because it's not actually refilled it, or is it if you assign it to the thing, is it no longer on I see. Yeah, so I need to switch that to that. Yeah, then it's just there. I get it. I don't want that one there. Let's assign that to that one. So that's up for the horse, right for that, down for that. Actually, I won't have that one there. Not that there either, I don't need it. Right, so I'll have that as up and right. Actually, we'll just keep the horse on the up one, and then the others can be on my item wheel as normal. Right, so... Right, that's alright. Yeah, so because I'm just used to using them like that, so I'll keep those like that, but yeah, I can then at least have the horse. What was I assign it to up? Yeah, so it would be like that to use it when I'm actually somewhere I can use the horse, right? Oh, Stoke Jedi, I'm glad it's useful. So radiation's a bit complicated, but when you get into it, a lot of it's quite simple. Right, oh, so I need to go to that place. I'd already been to that place, I just couldn't get through it until I did this boss, so... That makes that a bit easy. Right, so I want to go to this one, don't I? And then I go along the road. Right. Sure, I must have been down to that bit. I just don't recognise this bit weirdly off the top of my head. Is that a shortcut lift? It barely even moves out. Oh yeah, I do recognise that because it's got that annoying guy in there. So yeah, I killed him before and taken whatever the loot was in that room. Yeah, there we go, right. It was what they called a, was it an atom town? Something like that. They were the best towns to live in the Soviet Union because they were basically just much higher standards of living than standard Soviet towns and cities. It was kind of like a brochure type town thing, but then obviously, yeah, not once you blow up your RBMK, it's not a good town to live in. Why is my sorcerer being useless? Fuck's sake. Yeah, he was being fucking useless, that sorcerer. He was barely killing anything. Try that again with a summon that actually does something. Normally the sorcerers are good. I don't know why that one wasn't hitting anything. I didn't even know there was another Sonic movie, Rich, but hopefully you enjoy it if you go to see it. There's something that always makes me laugh at work, because I swear at work we have a brand of something that's called something like Sanic or Sanix or something. I can't remember what it's actually even a brand of, if it's like an electronic thing or a chemical or whatever. But it always makes me laugh because it makes me think of that Gotta Go Fast, you know, like kids' drawing of Sonic, whatever it's called. Is it Sanic, that drawing? But anyway, it is spelt very similar to that, so I can't help but chuckle every time I see that bloody thing. I really ought to watch another film in a game. I've not watched anything in ages, like TV or film-wise. These guys' faces always remind me a bit of Boris Johnson. Don't know if you can see it. Hang on. That, yeah. The faces remind me a bit of Boris for some reason. And no, I'm not calling for hitting politicians with gross metal swords, by the way, in case anybody's going to imply that from what I just said. Alright, let's call in the deadly shrimp. I hope he does a better job. I don't want him to despawn. Oh, I'm getting my ass kicked again. Actually, I'll let him despawn because I don't want to lose my souls. Oh, he's still alive. Oh shit. I reckon the reason I'm finding this hard is I probably ran up that side bit every time before and took them out from, you know, there. Let's get all my souls back anyway. Yeah, I reckon before when I did this bit I probably climbed up the bit back there, killed them all from the side where they don't really notice you. Yeah, and then probably less of them turned up to ambush me. It's not hard to pull off an archer build in this at all, what are you on about? There's loads of good bows in this game. No, I've not even heard of that at all. Snore sounds interesting. Oh, fuck's sake. But yeah, what was I going to say? Totally forgotten now. It depends what type of thing you put on your bow, because you can still do different bow variations, can't you, in this, like you could in the other games. I sort of get what you mean, but I don't think it would be hard at all to do an archer build in this, because I use my bow far more in this than I do in any of the other Souls games. The crossbow I've got is really nice, so, you know, I use that along the bow, but I suppose, yeah, you have to get to certain bits in the game, don't you, to get a bow that's actually good. There's a lot of weapons in this, isn't there, Rich? Yeah, as of next week, there's an air pistol I might have to order, and I mean like actually order it for legitimate use, rather than just plinking cans kind of thing. So if so, there'll be some air pistol videos for anybody interested, but it's one I asked Mike about a couple of different ones, and I've decided which model I'm going to get now, assuming it's in stock. But it's basically, you know, one that's between 5 and 6 foot-pounds, because I need one for humane dispatch. So basically, there's an air pistol I'll get for that. Obviously I can plink with it as well, but I can't get one of like the plinking air pistols to do humane dispatch with, because then it's not humane. So the pulley bow I like, the pulley crossbow's also good, or whatever it's called. Ah yeah, so this gate's open now where before this was closed. Yeah, I've got an air pistol that's like a replica one that shoots BBs, but you know, like not shoots BBs. I think doesn't it shoot BBs or 177? I can't remember my Rex. But yeah, this is like a proper air pistol, as in, you know, not an airsoft type one and not a ball bearing one, but it'd be a 177 like target shooting one. But I want it more just for the humane dispatch reason, which I won't get into too much on videos, because again, it would be that thing of where I'd be using it would be on private land I'm allowed to use it on, but you always get people, if I talk too much about that, where they'll be like, oh, I'm going to try and report you because I'm sure to get on the private land you'd have to walk through, you know, a bit of public land or whatever, like everybody would. But so in videos it would just be, you know, it being used as an air pistol to plink cans or whatever, but the reason I actually do need it is a legit humane dispatch pistol. Yeah, this one I'm looking at is a gas ram, Rich. I'm only actually looking at, because the one I've got is a CO2 cartridge one at the moment, which is just, you know, like a target shooting one. But yeah, the actual ones I'm looking at the moment are all either spring or a gas ram, and the one I'm settled on basically is a suppressed gas ram, so it's just under 6 foot-pounds, and it's actually quite quiet as well, supposedly, because it's, you know, a gas ram with a suppressor. Yeah, like I said, I've got an Umarex blowback Beretta PX4, but again, it's one that's only good for putting little holes in bits of paper. It's not, again, an actual proper air pistol, as in, you know, like a hunting type air pistol. Because, I mean, in an ideal world, air pistols in the UK should be allowed to be up to the same power as air rifles, because there's no reason they really shouldn't be. I know it's because of concealability type reasons, but... Was that thing actually trying to fight me? Get back here. Sure, that'll come in useful. Yeah, also, well, Rich, I was also going to say about that, I wouldn't use lead pellets anyway, because if you're, you don't really want to put lead into animals' food chains, as in, you know, say you have to shoot a rabbit or something with it, and I mean wild rabbits, obviously, when I'm on about stuff like this, you wouldn't want a, you know, like lead pellet somewhere where, like, then another animal might eat the rabbit and then eat a lead pellet. You know, I'd probably use those sort of ones that have the steel kind of, you know, steel pellets. You know, like the ones where they have a little plastic bit around them, like the whatever they were called ones with the steel sort of core. In the game, I've got a pulley one. In real life, no. Mike has a couple of repeating ones he's done videos on. There's a lot I like the look of, but I wouldn't be able to get a chance to really shoot them very often, so they're not worth the money for me. Again, it's the sort of thing where a few years ago I'd have definitely wanted to get them, but at the moment, because I barely get a chance to shoot them, there's no real point in me getting them. Right, so there's a lift here, and then there's a couple of different paths I can take. Right, let's have a look around here. Yeah, I suppose you're right, Rich. Copper would work as well. Okay, maybe the top bit was just another little bit to look at. Right, let's do this checkpoint, and then I'm going to have a look what was at the top then. Just resupply all my stuff. See what's over here then. I've got like a Brita jug filter, and I've also bought off of Hype recently like a really good like water filter for, you know, like taking water out the rivers and you know, doing. I also have an old Chinese army water filter somewhere. When I say old, I mean like, you know, a couple of years old. This is weird. Can I summon here? Right, I can, okay. Right, what's going on here then? Wasting that, isn't it? it's just me and this guy now. Whatever sort of attack he does. How good I can get in for a backstab with this gun. It reminds me of that Abyss boss or whatever it is in Dark Souls 1. There we go. Yeah, Rich, sadly that's the thing you have to keep specifying now, isn't it, with people? Because they can easily say, like, oh, you're doing something. Now we're at the other side of the bridge and there's another thing here. Right. Cheers, Rajiv, you alright? I mean, to be honest, I'm probably a bit over-leveled for those bosses, because I'm having the weird thing in this game where I sometimes get a bit stuck somewhere, even though it's meant to be a relatively, you know, area lower than my level. And then I'll get to the thing, you know, where I then run into an enemy that then seems really easy, because it seems way easier than, like, the previous boss you had to do. Where am I on the map? No. Anyway, before I do whatever this place is, I'm going to go check out that other place over here, Forbidden Lands. A bit over 100 hours so far, and I've still not finished it. But I'm not trying to rush through it either, I'm just sort of exploring the map and enjoying it. Again, I know people can speedrun games like this insanely fast if they're exploiting them or they have the perfect character build, and I know you can probably do this game in like 60 hours even if you're playing it quite thoroughly, you know, and just wanting to quickly get to places, but I'm just playing it for the sake of enjoying it. Because again, I've seen that annoying thing where people are trying to do reviews of this game before they've even finished it. It's just like, how do you know that the rest of the game is going to be as good as this first bit of it then? Because, you know, if you reviewed Dark Souls based on the start of it, the later bit of Dark Souls is absolute crap, you know, like Bed of Chaos and all that stuff. So, funny enough, these guys here, right at this section of the map, aren't as dangerous as the ones over here, which is crazy. Again, I know it's because I don't really want to waste those arrows on these guys, but I'll have to restock rigging arrows in a bit at a trader. I can use a horse here, okay. Oh, somebody being a dick, so goodbye. Right, personally, Rich, I still prefer Demon's Souls as my favourite Souls game, but technically on paper I think this is the best one. As in, It's got the most to do in it. It's probably less frustrating than the others because you've got a lot more you can do if you get stuck somewhere. But yeah, personally, I think I just really like Demon Souls still, and I think that's just because I really like the levels on it and everything like that. But yeah, I definitely say, you know, if I had to just objectively review them, so far I'd say this is the best of all the From Software games. Oh, well, as much as I don't want to bring stuff like this up, of course there was one of those fucking idiots on today's video, but again, probably just Russian bot, Russian shield, but we call them Vatniks, that's their actual name. But anyway, on that one about, you know, the Chernobyl stuff, he said, this is obviously fake news because Russia has one of the best nuclear safety records in the world. Russian troops would obviously have known they were going into Chernobyl and would have had the best quality tier NBC equipment and dosimeters. And then he was arguing with somebody else that Chernobyl happened because stupid Ukrainians were left to manage the power plant, not Russians. I was like, yeah, you're a cunt, goodbye Vatnik. Again, there's no point even trying to argue with people at that point. They're just fucking bots that don't listen. Well, so they're actually people in troll farms, aren't they? Being paid like 1 ruble to just spread shit, so block them. Okay, uncanny things lie ahead. That sounds good, Byron. Yeah, and also there's 2 versions of Dark Souls 2, isn't there, Rich? You can play the original, or you can play Scholar of the First Sin, and they're both a bit different, which I suppose gives it more replayability. And if you prefer one to the other, you know, you've got more choice there. Rajiv, I think with a lot of those people, they're not legitimately stupid people in a sense. I think they are just the sort of people that, you know, like, their job is essentially to deny reality. Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes, but I do think those people are basically, you know, you're paid per post or whatever in a tiny amount. It's the equivalent of doing it for like 1p, you know, argument in a comment that you have to, because they used to do the same thing with China and they were called 5-cent warriors, where it was, you know, like, they'd constantly go on about how everything, like, Chinese communist was good and like how bad the West was. You know, it's the sort of thing where most people, most of the time, you don't care, but I think when it comes to something really sensitive like what's going on at the moment, when you get people blatantly saying, you know, oh, that hospital was bombed was actually a Nazi base, or, you know, at the same time, but Russia didn't bomb it, the Ukrainians bombed it, they kill their own people, you know, like all this blah blah blah. When you start getting those at the moment, I've just got no fucking time for them. I know, Byron, but saying these people are literally people paid by the Kremlin to do it. Like I said, it's a well-known phenomenon because they keep constantly going onto certain forums to do it, even when like everybody instantly knows it's them, and, you know, like they're getting discredited within like, oh shit, like, you know, within a second of making a post, people are like, oh, I can already tell this is fake because, you know, they're people that know what they're on about on the forums. But fuck's sake, I need to get my 88k souls back. I might not use the horse here because it seems like the horse is going to get me into more trouble if I accidentally ride into a group of these guys. Yeah, there's quite a few, isn't there, really? Shit. NBC suits are good though if you get really heavy rain. They are very good for keeping you protected from the elements, because I mean that's technically their job, isn't it? But still. I don't find these guys very annoying at all, as long as you don't accidentally run into a group of them. Their moveset is very predictable once you get used to it. Because I used to farm these until I found the other place for, like, you know, the 1,000 odd runes they drop in the northeast of the map. And the ones there have bigger health bars and do more damage per hit. But the problem is with them, like you're saying, is because they have quite weird movesets, it's very easy to run into a group of them by accident, especially if you don't know the area very well. Like I said, I've only just found this area. And once you do that, that's when they start becoming really dangerous, because you suddenly find yourself swarmed by them. I had mine on the other day, Dan. I didn't have mine on today because it was drying on the thing, because I put it in the washing machine yesterday. But yeah, most days recently I've been wearing that. I was surprised how cold the wind was today. We did have a bit of snow, but it didn't settle. But, you know, like where, especially because I just shaved my head the other day. So, you know, where I was actually out, I was like, oh, the wind's really chilly. Thankfully, the coat I had on today did have a hood on it. So, you know, it did stop my ears and that getting cold. But it was one of those days where I'd have definitely worn something a bit thicker than I did wear today, you know, in hindsight, if I realised how chilly the wind was going to be. Especially because Monday was really warm this week. And I did know the weather was saying it would get a lot chillier this week. But, you know, it's still weird when you go out Monday and it's actually like a really nice warm day. And then you get to a day like today and it's actually, you know, like properly chilly wind, you know, where your hands and fingers feel cold. 95 DPM is the windproof smock I've got. I ordered one not very long ago. It's the one that has like the wire coat hanger type thing in the actual hood. So you keep the hood in place of like a weird coat hanger thing you bend. It's a bit primitive, but it works. But I just got an old windproof smock because I thought they're kind of like one of those bits of surplus everybody likes and I don't actually own one. Like, I've got loads of 95 DPM stuff, you know, but I didn't have one of those, so thought I'd get one. Right, I'm just going to do this to make sure I don't cock up the jumps. Oh. Brilliant, poisoned again. Right, let me get my souls. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sprint ahead here. Because these guys aren't actually very threatening if you're on the horse and just trying to avoid them. I was going to see if I can find another bonfire up here. This looks like it'd be a good place to farm. Is that? Oh no, it's just a spirit tree. But there we go, I've got enough golden seeds now, I think, to reinforce my flask again. Yeah, it says I can summon here, so I don't know if that's because there's a boss or what. Let's put that there. So it says there's a statue of whatever it is, so I'll just risk seeing if there's a boss up here. Yeah, there we go. Boss, right. Right, as I can respawn here, I'm just going to try that boss straight away, because it looks like I could probably do this without much trouble once I learn its moves. Because it looks like I knock quite a bit of health off of it each hit. It would either be an organic or inorganic vapor biron. I don't know enough about the particular chemical, but it should be one of those ones that most filters will block pretty easily. Right, I'll try the archer again, and then what I want to do this time is see if I can keep the boss further away from her. So, you know, I can just try and tank and avoid all the hits. And she can just plink the health down with the homing in bow. If I can stay alive, I'm just going to get a bit closer to her because so I don't want him to go behind that thing and then block the shots again like was just happening just now. Goes. There we are. Right. Yeah, Clancy, eventually any gas would saturate a filter to the extent where the gas just gets through, or the filter gets so blocked that you just can't breathe through it. Depends on what it is, but... Yeah, as Rich said, it was on my Romanian filter. It actually had this quite good breakdown of like different gases in different concentrations, like, you know, parts per oxygen, whatever it was, how long the filter lasted. And yeah, some gases, even if you had a brand new filter, would literally get through a filter in 30 minutes. Because, you know, like some gases do eat through filters really quickly, while as others, you know, they can last hours and hours and hours against them. It just really depends on the gas, it seems. I'll just use that to... heal myself up. Hopefully there's another checkpoint up here. Yeah, there it is. And I can level up again. I've got enough what's it? Souls. As I've said before, with the Mark II lag, you can use the soapy rag. Just be really careful because it is old rubber. So with older World War II masks, I'd always say be a bit more gentle with them than you would, you know, newer masks. The rubber on that is definitely designed to withstand chemicals, so, you know, soap shouldn't be an issue. Just try and, you know, keep the water as lukewarm as possible and anything, just because as stuff gets older it doesn't last as well. put another point into dexterity. If I get time tomorrow, I will do a quick video on a gas mask I've got and not got around to doing a video on yet. It's just one of those things where, because of everything that's been going on in the news, I keep not getting around to doing a video on this gas mask, despite the fact, you know, like I paid like 60, 70 quid for it like a couple of months ago. Yeah, I'm sure, like in lots of these games, most of the NPCs are using you, like, for their... No spoilers, anybody, by the way, in the chat. But I'm sure, you know, it's the thing of, like, most of the, you know, NPCs don't have your best interests at heart when they tell you to, you know, do something for them or not. If it's not a 3D printed one, Clancy, and it's like a proper industrially made plastic one, or like the old metal style ones, the O-rings, they're absolutely fine, those 60-40mm things. I got one for Mike so he could use his old Finish M61 with modern filters. Because again, at the time they were made by lots of armies that went from 60 to 40mm masks, so they didn't have to just throw away their old masks. You know, they could keep using them for a bit longer with just a filter adapter on them. Right, so I'm up here now, apparently. Agad, there's a map thing just coming up. Ooh, ghost deer. Oh yeah, by the way, I think, see where all this foggy looking stuff is? I think that's still a big area of the map as well. So apparently, I think I did look at the map to see what the entire map looked like, just about locations marked, and yeah, I've still got all this stuff to do before I finish the game. You know, and then there's probably still bits where there's still bits to find on the other bits of the map, so Elden Ring is pretty damn massive actually when it comes to the thing. Sadly, if you've got long hair with a lot of these things, you are going to struggle. Because bear in mind, in most militaries, you do have like a grooming standard, you know, where your hair won't be beyond a certain length, you know, you won't have a beard at all or whatever. So the answer really is that if you want it to fit comfortably or properly, you might have to give yourself a good haircut. Because I can certainly say, when I've, like yesterday, shaved my hair off again, when I put a gas mask on, it is so much easier and more comfortable basically with no hair than it is when you know, with no hair or very short hair than when you actually have longer hair, because then it gets caught in it, you know, it breaks the seal sometimes. This fucking hat looks like a, sort of a bit like a, not a dustbin lid, but you know, a bit like a wheel hub on a car, ye old wheel hub. Most of them are 3D printed, Stoic, unless you get them from a proper supplier. No. They'd probably not be... with a lot of those, you'd probably have to cut your hair even if you're a woman. Like, you wouldn't have to, like, cut it completely off, but you'd have to certainly have it shorter. With a mask like a GP5, though, you could have most of your hair pulled back, and it would seal at least somewhat alright. This guy reminds me of one of the enemies from one of the Dark Souls games. I'm trying to think which one it is, but... Which boss is it, or like enemy in one of the Dark Souls games that has that sort of move set? Is it one of the Ruined Sentinels in Dark Souls 2? There's definitely one that kind of moves a bit like that. Yeah, Rich, they, that was the thing, is like, if you were a Sikh or like a Muslim or whatever in the British Army and you were keeping a beard for like religious reasons, you had to put like Vaseline and similar stuff on your beards to get a mask to make a seal. Because again, it's one of those things where it's not recommended, where, like, if for religious reasons you're still allowed a beard, you then have to do things to get around the fact it won't seal your face, but everybody else has to just shave their beards off, because it's actually, like, you know, not something you have if you want a mask to work. I suppose if you had a PAPR unit with a mask, it would work as well. That's why the Royal Navy, interestingly enough, has much looser grooming standards than the Army and Air Force. Because of the fact that in the Navy, I think most of the ships can just do an NBC like lockdown on the ships and things like that. So therefore, there's not as much of a requirement for like a personal respirator where they're being needed. Well, Dan, if that all changes with like the Cold War coming back, they're going to change that, because the lives of your soldiers comes before people's feelings, I'm afraid. You know, because I think this is because we've not had a real war for ages, so when soldiers might actually be needing to properly think about CBRN equipment and all that, oh, you're allowed a beard because you like your beard. No, that's coming off, I think, with regulations. Just like you probably have moustaches back to whatever the grooming standard was of where they have to fit inside a respirator. Yeah, our British gas masks in World War II had awful straps. Mark II's no exception, or whatever version you've got. That comment makes no sense, but you're blocked for it. Well done. I did actually see a Vatnik make a comment like that on the thing, and people going, "Oh no, Vatnik, are you too poor now to even afford Google Translator?" which was funny. But it was like, you know, one of those ones where they were trying to post some sort of Russian disinfo propaganda, but they'd done a really bad job of translating it into English, so it was so fucking obvious it wasn't somebody remotely close to like native or English as a second language trying to post it. The mods can actually view his comment, everybody else can't, but it was basically just a load of weird unconnected buzzwords about Ukraine that guy just posted. Oh yeah, I've got enough souls, haven't I, in theory, to level up, so let's just try that. I'll go off the stream in a minute, by the way, because it's been about an hour now. And I am quite tired. Where do you live, William? Because I only know what's available on the UK market. No, I've not, Byron, but if that worked for that, they would work for whatever else, most likely. There we go. I assume I don't have the other thing, but yeah. I do have another flask though. No idea if you're in the US, I'm afraid. In the UK at the moment, I'd say if you can get in-date Remploy suits, like the one I did a video on a few weeks ago, that would be your best bet, but I don't know what's on the US market. Don't buy anything Myra, by the way, because I'm sure there are Myra NBC suits, which are just out, you know, like some old Eastern Bloc old NBC suits that you can buy for, like, you know, a massively inflated price. But I'm assuming in the US you can probably get like first responder type NBC suits on some sort of, you know, market somewhere, like the top type, you know, like fire crews would use, or like, you know, police turning up to stuff. They're probably your best bet because they're probably quite newish if you can find them for sale. I saw quite a few people stoic during the COVID-19 stuff wearing masks. But again, a lot of people weren't actually panic buying them. A lot of people were buying them to then scalp them to other people. Right, so yeah, to explain to you what the problem is with Myra very briefly, William, before I finish the stream. Myra is a company that mostly sells Czech Republic military gear at a massively inflated price. So they rename the masks, but for example, they'll sell like the Czech OM90 or OM90 gas mask for like a massively inflated price, where, you know, you can sometimes see the Myra one for sale, find it in the packaging Czech one, you know, for like a third of the price in some places for the exact same thing. And like their entire catalogue's like that. It's basically stuff you can buy from other brands or other things for less money, but Myra essentially just buy it in and then massively inflate the price. Yeah, most things stick to NBC suits, which is why they're designed to be decontaminated by being sprayed down. The worst thing, William, is they actually sell a couple of products that are genuinely unsafe. They sell what we call baby coffins, which are like these things that were designed, you know, to be like babies' little cribs that, you know, filtered gas. But the problem is they're not ones that run on an air pump. They're ones that I think are the ones that you use with bellows. But they don't actually, even if somebody's constantly pumping it, move enough air through for the baby to breathe. So that's what I call baby coffins, because your baby's going to get lung damage or die if you actually put it in them. But they still sell them, you know, like these 1970s commie junk things. You know, like the actual systems for babies that are meant to be like that, you know, are way, way different, but they still fucking sell them, which is horrible, because you bet somebody's going to buy one, put their baby in it as like some sort of prepping exercise and kill their kid. Yeah, that might also work, Byron, to be honest. Depends what market you're selling it on, William, because if you're selling it in a country that doesn't have very good regulations that products not killing people, you can easily get away with it. But, you know, Britain used to have things like that in World War II, and the idea was quickly abandoned after World War II, because we learned how dangerous it was to have, you know, a thing where the person themselves weren't breathing, but they weren't they were relying on somebody else to constantly pump air for them. Because what a surprise, people get distracted or whatever, or don't pump hard enough and they don't get enough airflow. Anyway, I'll be off now. Have a good day, everybody. And I said, if I get time, I'll do a members stream tomorrow, and or get that gas mask video done on that US World War II civilian gas mask, which I've had for a while and not got round to doing a video on yet. Right, the person spamming the chat I'm going to get rid of just before we finish. There we go, because 3 unrelated comments to the stream probably makes me think the person's here just to spam something. But anyway, have a good evening everybody, and I might get time, as said, to do